I'm trying to beat 3 AI opponents on all of the hardest difficulty settings using nothing but a roster of local talent, aka jobbers. But I don't just want to beat them, I want to destroy them. We already beat them last season, and this year we have to finish over 500,000 fans in front of second place, an unlikely result even if we were using the biggest superstars in the world. We pick things up with a 118,000 fan lead after 5 weeks. We're currently nowhere near on track for victory in this challenge due to the crazy things that have happened in the season so far. Can we start to turn it around this week? Last week, we returned to winning ways by leading the fan increase at our first premium live event of the season, SummerSlam, although it was very close and was basically a draw between us and SmackDown. We also saw the end of one of the longest running rivalries in history, Penelope Perfect v Trixie Gambit. As heel, Trixie Gambit took the win and became the holder of both the women's singles and tag team titles. But where are both of these going to go next? And finally, we saw Jerry Hatrick surprisingly lose for a second time in his NXT career in a tag team match alongside Triton. He's never been beaten in a singles match, and he's never been pinned in any match type. His only 2 defeats have come due to mistakes from his teammates. Will he be able to recover from his second ever defeat and his first defeat of this season? He's got one of the toughest rivals at NXT, Kyle Slickman, continuing to goad him, and they'll be fighting in the main event this evening. And who will come out victorious? I start the week by checking my inbox. Mick Foley says he got payback on us because he applied a double cost card to our free agent and legend signings. This didn't affect me whatsoever this week, but I told him that I hope he knows this means war regardless. I'm not going to let him get the better of me in any way, shape or form. Xavier Woods wanted to know how I pulled off such a good show at SummerSlam. Honestly, I could probably tell him every single secret I have because he's about 6.5 billion fans behind me at this point. The main secret? I'm the best. It's that simple. Triton also told me that he and Jerry Hatrick made for a great team. I'm not sure Jerry Hatrick would see it that way after their defeat, but still, if they had good chemistry together, there might be the potential for 2 of them to try to team up and get revenge in future. But Jerry Hatrick has bigger priorities to deal with right now, like trying to return to winning ways against Kyle Slickman in tonight's main event. I decided to use my first of Tyler Breeze's quick recovery cards this week to give everyone on the roster an extra 20 stamina. They put in a lot of effort in the first 5 weeks, especially as the roster was overcome by injuries thanks to Mick Foley and his evil ways, and they deserved to have their energy levels replenished. Like getting a full English breakfast after a night with questionable drink choices and even more questionable dance moves. I'd also earn a To The Moon card by completing Commissioner goals. This card gives a plus 15 popularity boost to a star after their next match is completed, and I had to decide who I thought would be deserving of a push this year, and after the disappointment of a second place finish in the Jobbers World Cup, and after making Jerry Hatrick look great in a triple threat match earlier this season, I decided to award this to Silence. He deserves a push to see how he could rise to the challenge. I then applied a 2x arena cost card to Mick Foley just because I could. I told you I wasn't done with him. I will never forgive him for what he did to my boy Jackson Smooth last year, and the fact he returned this year and attacked us again and again and again. And we can't forget Ali Brawler and Jody Garcia too. I will never forgive Mick Foley, ever. Anyway, yeah, his arena will cost twice as much this week. This week starts with a controversial match. It's a fatal 4-way that will test our new female stars on their ability to fight no matter what the circumstances. It would be Sammy George against Danielle Wallace, against Precious Silver, against Maya T. Kirk. Why is this so controversial? Well, it's 2 tag teams thrown into a fatal 4-way against one another. They'd have to put friendship and loyalty aside to prove they have what it takes to make a name for themselves in the ring. It's a tables, ladders and chairs match. The first to climb the ladder and claim the Money in the Bank briefcase comes out victorious. The ladies trade blows back and forth and show that they will put loyalty to one side where needed, and eventually we had a winner, Sammy George, and it was a 5-star match. Sammy George is an interesting addition to the roster this year. She came in under the radar a little bit, managed to get into Hell to Pay alongside the much more established partnership of Trixie Gambit and Ali Brawler, and amazingly, she now moves to a perfect 3-0 record for the season, and doing so in a fatal 4-way makes it even more impressive. Maya T. Kirk, Sammy's rival, hates to see her success, and the rivalry grows. Both Maya and Precious Silver continue a 100% losing start to the season, and both sit at 0 wins, 3 losses apiece. Triton then takes to the mic to call out Chuck McWagon. He says that Chuck was gifted the tag team title last week because he wouldn't stop crying like a baby after being beaten by him, and it's true, he did cry about it. A lot. Triton wants the chance to try to make Chuck cry again, and Chuck rises to the bait, with their rivalry growing to level 3. Next up, we have an interesting men's tag team match featuring some pretty big stars. Jackson Smooth teams up with Cash Suplex for his first ever tag team match. Will they be a good team together? Will they be able to get a win? They come up against Silence. It's the start of his push under NXT, who teams up with Cash's rival Dante Roberts. Dante is a loudmouth, and Silence basically has no use for his mouth whatsoever. Will this be a bad matchup? We're willing to give them a chance. And after a grueling match, the winner was Silence and Dante Roberts. The fans are saying that they're an incredible tag team, and they do say opposites attract. It was a 3-star match rating, pretty impressive considering there were no stipulations and with no prior tag team rivalry. That's what happens when you put big stars on a big stage. They make magic happen. Silence picks up his first win of the season, and we move on to the next promo. It's Trixie Gambit who takes to the mic to show off her women's title belt from last week, and she does a charity appeal. She says she's trying to raise money for plastic surgery for her former rival Penelope Perfect, because her face apparently needs repairing after she beat her up and took the title off her last time out. That's just cruel, Trixie. She says she's also raising money for a new opponent because she doesn't know anyone capable of stepping up to face her right now other than her teammate and fellow bruiser Ali Brawler, and the two Hell to Pay members would never turn on each other. Despite some questionable remarks, the promo is rated as good by the fans. The other half of our female tag team title holders, Ali Brawler, then makes a surprise return to the ring to put her rivalry to an end against Jody Garcia. Two heroes from our injury hit week have been blessed by modern day advances in injury recovery cards, and despite being a bad Bruiser v Giant matchup, and they're both heels too, they've actually put on some good matches so far. And whatever their performances have been like in the ring, the fans will always respect the fact that these two were the only women to take the biggest of risks in that week, and they both paid the price for it. They return tonight with this submission match. It will end their rivalry, but it's been a heated rivalry despite their flaws. Who would get the victory in this match and make their opponent submit? Jody Garcia is actually also unbeaten so far at NXT. She won a fatal 4-way early on and beat Ali in the match where they both picked up devastating injuries. Will the newcomer be able to make Ali tap here tonight? And she does! The Canadian former basketball star continues her perfect start to life at NXT. The fans seem pretty gutted to see one of their favourite heels, Ali Brawler, take another L, and they only rate it 1.5 stars. Ali has had a slow start to this season. Will she be able to recover from this string of defeats to Jody? Chuck McWagon then picks up the microphone and heads to the ring. He says he's never cried in his entire life, to try to prove Triton wrong, and then shows the crowd footage of him being born, where, to be fair to him, he didn't make a single noise, let alone shed a tear, though it was pretty strange to see that he was born with a full handlebar moustache. This self-promo increases his popularity by 3, and he's angling for a big appearance in a future week. But then it was time for the main event, one that many fans have been waiting for. First out, it's Kyle Slickman. We're hearing rumours that Kyle Slickman could get a shot at the world title if he can put on a good match tonight. After all, he's a 2-time Jobbers World Cup finalist and the reigning Jobbers World Cup champion, and it only seems fair that he gets a shot after being part of one of the craziest story twists in modern day entertainment, his shock feud with tonight's opponent, Jerry Hatrick. Jerry looks calm and collected as he makes his way to the ring, knowing that he's never lost a singles match, he's never been pinned, and he's never submitted in any match type. And he holds both the World and the North American Championship, and nearly added the tag team belt to his locker last week. Who would have predicted that Kyle and Jerry would have wanted to end each other's careers back when they were tag team champions in season 1? Not many would have predicted it, and even fewer would have wished for it. But that seems a long time ago now, as two of the leading faces of the NXT brand go for each other's throats in this one, utilising weapons to their advantage in this Extreme Rules anything goes match. Jerry takes the advantage and repeatedly hits Kyle with a baseball bat, but Kyle cleverly rolls away through a ladder somehow and counters. He takes Jerry down with a clever combination. 1, 2, oh, Jerry kicks out. You're going to have to do a lot better than that to keep Jerry Hatrick down. Kyle immediately stands Jerry up and hits him with a slick kick. And then he stands him back up again, hoists Jerry up onto his shoulders. Surely not. It's a Kyle driver. Oh my god, his knee hit Jerry with the force of a freight train. He can't recover here. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Jerry Hatrick loses a singles match for the first time ever. That was 30 seconds of sheer dominance from Kyle Slickman, showing exactly why he's the Jobbers World Cup champion and showing he's got the full package of tricks in his arsenal. The dodge, the slick kick, the Kyle driver. Wow. Jerry picks up back-to-back losses, and this guarantees Kyle Slickman a shot at his world title at the next premium live event in week 10, Hell in a Cell week. It was a 3.5 star rated match, pretty good considering it's a fighter v fighter matchup, and they progress to a level 4 rivalry. A heated feud, a world title shot on the cards, and the next premium live event only a few weeks away. This is getting seriously tasty. After the show, Penelope Perfect is seen tweeting about Ali Brawler and said she wasn't impressed with her performance and isn't shocked at all that she lost to Jody Garcia. Is Ali gonna let that one slide? We waited for the results to come in to see if we could start to build any sort of momentum in our challenge. We gained nearly 53,000 fans, and that's a pretty great week overall. We need it to be a significant gain over SmackDown, but what would they gain? 48,000. That's not great news for us. NXT 2.0 gained 25,000. Honestly, I have no idea what Xavier Woods is doing over there, but then again, it seems that neither does he. And Raw, Mick Foley's Raw, gained 44,000. We continue to extend our lead slowly but surely and work towards our goal of winning the season by 500,000 fans, but we'd need fireworks next week if things were going to look more promising. And we'd get fireworks alright, but not in the way I was expecting.